Angela Craig was known throughout Aurora, Colorado as a devoted mother of 6 who never missed a day calling her sister in Utah. Her life revolved around her children, her church where she directed the choir, and helping families reconnect through genealogy work. On March 18, 2023, this beloved mother and community pillar was declared brain-dead at just 47 years old. Her death would expose one of Colorado's most calculated spousal murder cases, revealing how the man she trusted most had spent months researching deadly poisons and planning her elimination. The investigation uncovered a web of affairs, financial crimes, and digital evidence that painted a chilling picture of premeditated murder disguised as mysterious illness. Like and subscribe for more in-depth true crime investigations, and share to help us tell stories that honor victims. Angela Craig was born on April 15, 1975, in Dodge City, Kansas, into a large and loving family as one of 10 children. From an early age, Angela displayed the qualities that would define her throughout her life: wit, intelligence, and a remarkable ability to engage others in captivating conversations that could last for hours. Despite suffering from allergies, Angela maintained a deep love for animals that never wavered. Her diverse interests painted the picture of a well-rounded individual who approached life with curiosity and passion. She found joy in reading, spending countless hours immersed in books, and discovered a talent for woodworking that showcased her creative and practical nature. Her pursuit of interior design studies reflected her eye for beauty and her desire to create welcoming spaces for others. Angela's commitment to her community ran deep through her extensive involvement in church activities. She served as choir director, bringing music and harmony to worship services. Her dedication extended to teaching roles within the church and leading youth groups, where her natural ability to connect with people of all ages made her an beloved mentor and guide. Her strong family values led her to work as a family history consultant, helping others reconnect with distant relatives and discover their roots. This work perfectly suited her generous spirit and her genuine interest in bringing families together. On December 18, 1999, Angela married James Craig, a man with aspirations of becoming a doctor. Their wedding seemed to mark the beginning of what appeared to be a perfect life together, built on shared dreams and mutual support. Angela's reputation within her large family and community was that of a devoted woman who put others before herself, someone whose warm smile and caring nature made everyone feel valued and heard. However, this seemingly perfect foundation would soon face challenges that no one could have anticipated. The Craig family established themselves in Aurora, Colorado, where James worked diligently toward achieving his professional dreams. In 2006, James earned his doctorate in dental surgery from the University of Missouri, Kansas City, marking a significant milestone in their journey together. His dedication to his field was evident when he took on the role of establishing the International Dental Program, demonstrating his commitment to expanding dental care beyond local boundaries. James began his dental practice in Aurora in October 2006, setting up what would become a successful clinic that served the local community. The practice represented years of hard work and sacrifice, positioning the family for financial stability and professional recognition within their new hometown. Over their 23 years of marriage, Angela and James welcomed 6 children into their family, creating a bustling household filled with the energy and challenges that come with raising a large family. Throughout these years, Angela maintained exceptionally close relationships with her siblings, particularly her sister Toni in Utah, with whom she spoke daily by phone. These regular conversations provided Angela with a vital connection to her extended family and offered her emotional support as she navigated the demands of motherhood. The Craig family appeared to embody the American dream: a successful dental practice, a growing family, and strong community ties. Angela continued her community involvement while James built his professional reputation, and their 6 children thrived in Aurora's supportive environment. However, beneath this picture of success, financial pressures began mounting. By 2021, James faced significant business challenges that threatened the sustainability of his practice. His friend Ryan Redfern had to step in as a financial partner to prevent the practice from failing, a development that would later prove significant. Despite these underlying tensions, the Craig family maintained their public image of stability and happiness, with Angela continuing her role as devoted mother and community member. Yet this seemingly perfect life was about to face an unexpected and devastating turn that would shatter everything they had built together. On March 5, 2023, Angela returned home to Aurora after visiting her sister in Utah. a trip that had likely provided her with the usual comfort and connection she treasured with her extended family. The following morning, March 6, 2023, began like any other day, with James thoughtfully preparing a pre-workout protein shake for his wife before she started her daily routine. James took particular pride in this gesture, later mentioning at his dental office how he had prepared the special drink for Angela that morning. It seemed like a caring husband's way of helping his wife maintain her fitness routine, a small act of kindness that demonstrated his attention to her needs and interests. However, shortly after consuming the protein shake, Angela began experiencing unusual symptoms. She became dizzy and reported feeling unwell, marking the beginning of what would become a deeply concerning pattern of declining health. The timing was notable. Angela had felt perfectly fine during her visit to Utah, but her symptoms began immediately upon her return home. Worried about her condition, Angela made her first hospital visit on March 6, 2023, seeking medical attention for her mysterious symptoms. The medical staff conducted routine examinations and tests, but their findings revealed nothing alarming or out of the ordinary. Blood work came back within normal ranges, and standard diagnostic procedures showed no signs of infection, injury, or underlying medical conditions. Doctors prescribed standard medications and recommended rest, treating Angela's symptoms as they would any routine case of dizziness and general malaise. The medical team expected that with proper rest and medication, Angela would recover quickly and return to her normal, energetic self. James maintained communication with concerned friends, including Ryan's wife, expressing appreciation for her concern while assuring everyone that they had Angela's condition under control. His messages conveyed confidence that this was merely a temporary setback that would resolve with proper medical care. Yet despite the reassuring medical reports and normal test results, Angela's condition continued to worsen rather than improve. This troubling contradiction between her declining health and the consistently normal medical findings would soon raise questions that neither the family nor medical staff could easily answer. By March 15, 2023, Angela's condition had taken a dramatic and alarming turn for the worse. The symptoms that had begun as simple dizziness and general discomfort had evolved into severe and debilitating problems. Angela was experiencing extreme dizziness that made it difficult for her to function normally, accompanied by persistent nausea and severe stomach pain that left her unable to carry out her daily activities. When Angela needed medical attention, she found herself unable to reach James, who was occupied with patients at his dental clinic. Desperate for help and growing increasingly concerned about her deteriorating condition, she was forced to call her brother for assistance in getting to the hospital for what would become her third visit in just 10 days. Angela arrived at the hospital around 11 in the morning, and James hurriedly responded to be by his wife's side once he learned of her hospitalization. The medical team immediately began evaluating her worsened symptoms, conducting additional tests, and monitoring her vital signs as her condition continued to decline before their eyes. At 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the situation became critical when Angela suffered a stroke while under medical care. The sudden neurological event left her unresponsive, forcing doctors to place her on life support to maintain her vital functions. The dramatic progression from her morning arrival to afternoon life support shocked both the medical staff and family members who had gathered at the hospital. During this crisis, James maintained communication with Ryan's wife, sending her 2 photographs of Angela surrounded by medical professionals in the hospital room. The images captured the severity of the situation, showing Angela connected to various machines and receiving intensive medical care. This represented Angela's third hospital visit in just 10 days, with each episode proving more severe than the previous one. The medical team remained puzzled by her rapidly declining health, as extensive testing continued to reveal no clear cause for her symptoms. Ryan and his wife made the decision to visit the hospital to offer their support during this uncertain and frightening time, unaware that they carried information that would completely transform the investigation's direction and reveal the shocking truth behind Angela's mysterious illness. While Ryan was driving to the hospital to support the Craig family during Angela's medical crisis, he received a phone call that would change everything. Caitlin, the office manager at James's dental practice, contacted Ryan with information that she felt compelled to share. Despite her uncertainty about its significance, Caitlin had been observing unusual behavior from James since March 6, 2023, the same day Angela first became ill. On that morning, James had unexpectedly shown up at the dental office despite having no scheduled patients or appointments. This deviation from his normal routine struck Caitlin as odd, but what happened next was even more concerning. Instead of using his own office as he typically would, James chose to use a computer located in one of the exam rooms. This unusual behavior caught Caitlin's attention because James always used his personal office computer for any work-related tasks, making his choice to use an exam room computer both puzzling and out of character. Several days later, James sent a text message to the office requesting that they receive a personal package on his behalf. His specific instructions were clear. No one else should open the package under any circumstances. The unusual nature of this request raised questions among the office staff about what might be so sensitive or personal that it required such secrecy. On March 13, 2023, when the anticipated package arrived at the dental office, a colleague had already opened it before Caitlin could intervene and follow James's explicit instructions. Upon discovering that the package had been opened, Caitlin quickly resealed it, but not before catching a glimpse of its contents that would prove absolutely crucial to the investigation. Inside the package, Caitlin observed a hazardous material label on a cylindrical container that was clearly marked potassium cyanide. Initially, she assumed this might be some type of medical or dental supply that could have legitimate professional uses, though she had never encountered such materials in their practice before. Caitlin watched as James left the office clutching the container, which he had wrapped carefully in brown paper, clearly taking precautions to conceal its contents from anyone who might see him leaving with it. Something about the entire situation troubled her enough that she decided to conduct her own research into what she had witnessed. When Caitlin performed a Google search about potassium cyanide and its uses, she made a shocking discovery that sent chills through her. The symptoms associated with potassium cyanide poisoning closely resembled the very symptoms that Angela had been experiencing during her repeated hospital visits. Armed with Caitlin's disturbing information about the potassium cyanide, Ryan arrived at the hospital where Angela remained on life support, fighting for her life. The weight of what he had learned created an urgent sense of responsibility that he could not ignore, despite the potential consequences for his relationship with James and the Craig family. Ryan made the difficult decision to approach one of the nurses caring for Angela with his suspicion that she might have been deliberately poisoned by her husband using potassium cyanide. The nurse took Ryan's concerns seriously, understanding the gravity of the situation and the need to act quickly if there was any possibility that Angela had been poisoned. The medical staff immediately decided to conduct new tests on Angela, specifically looking for signs of cyanide poisoning that previous examinations had not been designed to detect. The nurse also recognized the importance of alerting law enforcement and made a crucial call to 911 to report the suspected poisoning case. Meanwhile, James became aware that Ryan had left the hospital and confronted him with a phone call, demanding to know why he had departed without explanation. During this tense conversation, James revealed that hospital staff now suspected him of poisoning his wife, indicating that the medical team was taking the poisoning allegations seriously. Ryan seized this opportunity to directly question James about the mysterious package and the potassium cyanide that Caitlin had observed. The confrontation forced James to address the accusations that were now circling around him as Angela lay dying in the hospital bed. James admitted to purchasing the chemical, but claimed that Angela had asked him to acquire it, stating that he never imagined she would actually use it. This explanation suggested that James was attempting to frame Angela's condition as a suicide attempt, rather than acknowledging any role in deliberately poisoning her. Desperate to control the situation, James sent Ryan a pleading text message, begging him not to share their conversation with police investigators. He expressed concern that Ryan's involvement would cause additional harm to his family, who were already suffering through Angela's medical crisis. James displayed frustration and anger toward Ryan for not approaching him man to man, instead of involving medical staff and potentially law enforcement in what he claimed was a private family matter that could be resolved without outside interference. Despite James's desperate pleas and attempts to manipulate the situation, Ryan made the crucial decision to contact police and share everything he had learned about the suspicious circumstances surrounding Angela's illness. Well past midnight, police officers arrived at the hospital to discuss Angela's dire condition while she remained on life support with no detectable brain activity. On March 16, 2023, investigators visited Caitlin at the dental office to gather detailed information about James's suspicious activities and the potassium cyanide package. During this interview, Caitlin provided crucial details that helped establish a timeline connecting James's actions directly to Angela's mysterious illness and rapid health decline. Caitlin revealed that James had prepared the pre-workout protein shake for Angela on the morning of March 6, 2023, before her first hospital visit. This information proved significant because it established that Angela had consumed something James prepared immediately before experiencing her first symptoms of dizziness and illness. The timeline became increasingly damning as Caitlin described how Angela suddenly became dizzy after consuming the shake that morning, with her health rapidly declining from that exact moment forward. This correlation between James's preparation of Angela's drink and the immediate onset of her symptoms provided investigators with a potential method of poisoning. Caitlin's detailed account of the potassium cyanide package and her independent research into how this lethal chemical could produce symptoms identical to those Angela experienced gave investigators concrete evidence of James's access to deadly substances and his knowledge of their effects on human health. The investigation took another significant turn when Ryan provided devastating revelations about the true state of the Craig marriage, completely shattering the public image of their seemingly happy family life. Ryan revealed that James had confided in him about serious marital problems and his contemplation of divorce from Angela. James's financial troubles from 2021, which had threatened his dental practice with bankruptcy, provided additional context for potential motives. Ryan's intervention as a financial partner had saved the practice, but the underlying financial pressures had created significant stress within the marriage. Ryan disclosed that James had claimed Angela contemplated ending her life in 2022 through an overdose, which James said he had prevented. According to James, Angela's alleged self-harm tendencies became more pronounced when he asked for divorce in December 2022, painting a picture of a troubled woman struggling with mental health issues. However, James's pattern of secrecy became apparent when investigators learned he had never reported Angela's alleged suicidal behavior to authorities or sought professional mental health treatment for her supposed psychological struggles. When police interviewed the couple's 6 children, they encountered testimony that completely contradicted James's claims about Angela's mental state. The children described their mother as happy, energetic, and showing no signs of the troubling behavior their father had described to Ryan. This stark contradiction between James's private claims and his children's observations provided evidence that James might have been fabricating stories to explain Angela's worsening health and lay groundwork for explaining her death as suicide rather than murder. Police obtained search warrants for both the Craig residence and James's dental office, along with authorization to review phone records and text message conversations dating back to March 6, 2023, setting the stage for discovering even more damning digital evidence. The investigation took a chilling turn when police examined the text message exchanges between James and Angela on March 6, 2023, the day she first reported feeling unwell after consuming the protein shake he had prepared for her that morning. The conversation began innocuously, with Angela expressing appreciation for a coffee James had made for her, showing typical marital affection and optimism for the day ahead. Her messages reflected the loving, grateful nature that family and friends had always known, displaying no signs of the depression or suicidal ideation that James would later claim she experienced. However, the conversation quickly took an ominous turn when Angela mentioned feeling dizzy and generally unwell, prompting James to suggest she check her blood pressure. What made his responses particularly disturbing was his immediate reference to heavy medications and acknowledgement of past concerns, suggesting prior knowledge of triggers that might affect Angela's health. James voiced concern about her symptoms, comparing them to those of a stroke, and asked specific questions about any weakness she might be experiencing. His detailed awareness of her condition and his seemingly knowledgeable questions about stroke symptoms would later appear suspicious to investigators, suggesting he had anticipated the effects she would experience. When police inspected James's computer systems, they uncovered 2 separate email accounts and a search history that revealed the calculated nature of his actions. The timeline of James's online research painted a disturbing picture of premeditation and careful planning. In February 2023, weeks before Angela first became ill, James had conducted searches for how many grams of pure arsenic does it take to kill a human, and can arsenic be detected in an autopsy. These searches demonstrated his research into lethal dosages and his concern about post-mortem detection of poisoning. His searches for chemical suppliers in their city showed he was actively seeking sources for dangerous substances, eventually leading to his Amazon purchase of a product labeled as 99.9999% crystalline metalloid arsenic that came with explicit warnings that ingesting the chemical could prove fatal. The investigation revealed James had viewed alarming YouTube videos, including one titled, "Top 5 Undetectable Poison That Don't Show Signs of Murder," with detailed instructions on creating plant-based poisons, that would be difficult for medical professionals to detect during treatment or autopsy. James conducted 3 additional searches related to homemade poison making from plants, demonstrating his interest in multiple methods of creating lethal substances that could be administered without detection. Another video in his viewing history detailed the specific effects of both cyanide and arsenic poisoning, highlighting how difficult these particular substances are for doctors to detect during treatment, providing him with knowledge about which poisons would be most likely to succeed without raising immediate medical suspicion. As investigators delved deeper into James's personal life, interviews with friends and family members revealed the shocking truth about the Craig marriage, exposing the carefully maintained facade that had hidden years of dysfunction and betrayal from public view. Angela's sister provided critical testimony that only those closest to Angela knew. The marriage was far from the loving relationship presented to the outside world. She revealed James's long history of extramarital affairs with multiple women, and his confession to Angela about his addiction to inappropriate online material that had persisted since his teenage years. A particularly disturbing incident from 5 or 6 years earlier came to light, when Angela had feared that James had deliberately drugged her to prevent her from intervening in his secretive activities. This earlier suspected poisoning attempt showed a pattern of behavior that made the current situation even more sinister. Angela's sister disclosed that Angela had repeatedly expressed her desire to escape the marriage over the past 16 years, but James had skillfully manipulated her into staying each time she gathered the courage to leave. His psychological control over Angela had prevented her from following through on her plans to seek freedom from their toxic relationship. James's financial irresponsibility further complicated their situation, including gambling losses of over $2,000 during a Las Vegas trip, despite the family being $2 million in debt from his failing dental practice and mounting personal expenses. The investigation uncovered emails detailing round-trip flights that James had purchased for Karen, an orthodontist from Texas who had filed for divorce in 2022 and had been carrying on a romantic relationship with James. Angela had no knowledge of this ongoing affair or the money James was spending on his mistress. The intimate tone of email communications between Karen and James revealed the depth of their relationship, with messages expressing love and making plans for their future together. Once James was free from his marriage to Angela, the calculated timing proved particularly damning. These flights for Karen were purchased on the exact same day that arsenic was delivered to James's home, suggesting a coordinated plan for James to eliminate Angela and immediately begin his new life with his lover. Karen's email with the subject line, "See you soon," expressed regret over recent events in James's life, while apologizing for keeping her distance, indicating her awareness of James's difficult circumstances, while maintaining their romantic connection despite the tragedy unfolding in his marriage. The final piece of the financial motive puzzle emerged when investigators discovered Angela's 3 life insurance policies, raising the chilling possibility that collecting these substantial payouts might have been an integral part of James's grim plan to murder his wife and start fresh. As evidence mounted against James, hospital staff continued their valiant fight to save Angela's life, but the damage caused by the poisoning had progressed beyond medical intervention. Despite their best efforts and the most advanced life support technology available, Angela's condition continued to deteriorate. On March 18, 2023, at 4:29 p.m., medical professionals made the heartbreaking declaration that Angela was brain dead, marking the tragic end of her fight for survival. The devastating reality was that Angela passed away without ever learning the truth about her husband's calculated plotting or understanding why her body had failed her so completely. Justice moved swiftly once Angela was declared dead. Within hours of her being removed from life support, James was officially charged with first-degree premeditated murder, reflecting the prosecutor's belief that sufficient evidence existed to prove James had planned and executed Angela's death with deliberate intent. On March 19, 2023, James Craig was arrested and taken into custody, transforming him from a grieving widower into the prime suspect in his wife's murder. The speed of his arrest demonstrated the strength of the evidence investigators had gathered during their intensive investigation. James made his initial court appearance in Colorado, presenting a shocking contrast to the smiling, confident man seen in family photographs. Instead, he appeared as a disheveled 45-year-old defendant wearing an orange jail jumpsuit and handcuffs, facing the most serious criminal charges possible. Friends, family members, and some of James and Angela's children watched the proceedings in shock, struggling to reconcile the man they thought they knew with the accused murderer standing before the judge. The prosecution added a charge of tampering with physical evidence alongside the first-degree murder charge, indicating that James had attempted to conceal or destroy evidence of his crimes. The judge set bail at an extraordinary $10 million, reflecting both the severity of the charges and the flight risk James posed given his financial resources and connections outside the state. The trial date was scheduled for December 2024. Information about Angela's 3 life insurance policies emerged a week after her death, reinforcing the financial motive theory and suggesting that James stood to gain substantial monetary benefits from his wife's death. The most heartbreaking aspect of the entire tragedy was the impact on Angela's 6 children, who now faced the devastating reality of losing their mother while watching their father stand trial for her murder. Angela's extended family stepped forward to provide care and support for the children during this unimaginably difficult time. The family made clear that James's extended family should not be held responsible for his actions, recognizing that they too were victims of his calculated deception and murderous plot. In the face of unimaginable tragedy, Angela's family made decisions that reflected the generous spirit she had embodied throughout her life. When doctors declared Angela brain dead, her family courageously chose to donate her organs, finding bittersweet comfort in knowing that her legacy would continue through the lives she helped save. This final act of giving exemplified everything Angela had represented during her 47 years of life. Even in death, she continued helping others, just as she had done as a mother, community member, and friend to everyone who knew her. Angela's role as a mother remained her greatest pride and joy throughout her life. Her 6 children had been the center of her world, and despite the challenges she faced in her marriage, she had provided them with love, stability, and the values that would guide them through the difficult times ahead. When Angela's family wrote her obituary, they focused on honoring the person she truly was, beyond the tragedy that had ended her life. They remembered her warm smile that could light up any room, her unwavering dedication to family, and her remarkable wit and intelligence that made her such engaging company. Her love for animals, despite suffering from allergies, demonstrated the depth of her caring nature. Her passion for reading had enriched her mind and provided her with the knowledge that made her conversations so captivating. Her woodworking skills showed her creativity and practical abilities, while her interior design studies reflected her eye for beauty. Angela's work as a family history consultant had allowed her to help others reconnect with distant relatives and discover their heritage. Her extensive church involvement as choir director, teacher, and youth group leader had touched countless lives within her community. Angela Craig's life, though tragically cut short by the person she trusted most, had been defined by service to others and unconditional love for her family. Her legacy continues not only through her 6 children, who carry forward her values and spirit, but also through the recipients of her donated organs, ensuring that even in death, Angela continued her lifelong mission of helping others in their time of need.